أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Welcome, everyone. In today's reflection, we're diving into the 18th juz of the Quran, and we're looking at a theme that I think we can all relate to: faith under pressure. We're going to explore this idea of building, an inner architecture, a kind of spiritual backbone of integrity that can really hold up against all the tests life throws at us. So let's just jump right in, shall we? I want to start with a big question, one that really gets to the core of everything. If you could just push aside everything the world screams at you about success, what does the Quran actually say a truly successful life looks like? It's a huge question, right? But what's amazing is that Juzʼ 18 gives us an answer that is just crystal clear. And, what's so striking is how the Quran immediately sets up this contrast. Its definition of success, this concept of falah, it's radically different from how we measure things today, isn't it? It has nothing to do with your follower count or the money in your bank or your job title. No, it starts somewhere so much deeper, so much more personal. It all begins with the state of your heart. We see this so beautifully right at the very beginning of Surah Al-Muʻminūn. The chapter just opens with this incredible, powerful declaration, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Successful indeed are the believers. And think about that for a second. It doesn't say they will be successful someday. It says they are successful, right here, right now. So, what is it about them that makes them successful?
Okay, so how does the Quran actually break this down for us? I mean, what does this success look like? Well, it doesn't just leave us with a nice statement. It gives us the whole anatomy, the blueprint. And what you'll find is that it's not about some big, flashy, one-time achievement. It's about something much quieter, much more profound. It's about consistent, day in, day out integrity.
Just take a look at this list. These are the qualities that define them. Being humble in prayer, turning away from useless empty talk, the gossip and noise, giving charity sincerely from the heart, guarding their own dignity, and, crucially, fulfilling the trusts they're given, and staying faithful to their prayers. Do you see the pattern here? Every single one of these things is rooted in a disciplined inner state. This is faith in action. This is what it looks like when it moves from your heart out into the real world.
And to help us get there, to really cultivate that humility, the Quran does something so gentle. It just reminds us of where we came from. It takes us back to our origin, from the seemingly insignificant drop of fluid all the way to a fully formed human being. And that reminder, wow, it's such a powerful spiritual tool. It just dissolves any sense of pride or arrogance, doesn't it? It completely grounds you, reminding you that every bit of strength, every ability you have, it all comes from the Creator.
All right, so once we have that solid inner foundation, the Quran then zooms out. It broadens the lens. It starts to show us how these individuals, these people with disciplined hearts, come together to build a truly healthy society. And that's the central theme of the very next chapter in this juz, the incredible Surah Al-Nur.
Now, Surah Al-Nur doesn't pull any punches. It gives some really serious warnings about the kinds of things that can just tear a community apart from the inside. And a huge one is slander. I mean, the Quran is absolutely unflinching about this. It talks about how careless speech, the rumors, the gossip, the things people say without thinking, can literally destroy lives and ruin reputations. This is the outward, the zahir part of the sin, the action that everyone can see and hear.
But then, the guidance goes so much deeper. It doesn't just stop at the outward action. It goes straight to the inner discipline, the batin. It's not enough to just not say bad things. It's about cultivating a heart that thinks good of others, that assumes the best. It's about protecting someone's honor in your own mind, even when you're completely alone. Now that is true sincerity. That is ikhlas in its purest form.
So the question is, how do we do that? How do we navigate all these tricky social situations? How do we find our way through the darkness of suspicion and all the misinformation that's out there? Don't worry, the Quran gives us the answer.
And that answer, it's captured in one of the most famous, most breathtakingly beautiful verses in the entire Quran. You know the one, the verse of light. Allahu nurus samawati wal ard. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. Just let that sink in for a moment. Just picture that. This is so much more than just beautiful poetry, isn't it? It's a profound spiritual reality. The metaphor is teaching us something crucial. Think about it. Just like physical light helps us see where we're going, divine light, which is guidance, revelation, wisdom, that's what gives us our moral compass, our clarity.
Without it, we're just stumbling around in the dark, both as individuals and as whole societies.
Okay, so what does this divine light look like in practice? How does it actually work? Well, it gives us a standard, a benchmark. It's our tool for maintaining integrity when things get tough, when we're under pressure. And this idea is absolutely central to the next chapter we're going to look at, Surat Al-Furqān.
See, one of the names of the Qur'an itself is Al-Furqān, and that literally means the criterion. It's the ultimate yardstick. It's what helps us separate truth from falsehood, right from wrong, guidance from getting lost. So when all the pressures of the world are trying to blur those lines, and they do, don't they? The believer turns to the Furqān to find that clarity again.
Now, it might be easy to hear all this and think, okay, that's ancient wisdom for a different time, but I'm telling you, it is shockingly relevant. In fact, let's hold this wisdom up like a mirror and look at our own digital age.
Just look at this. It's a direct parallel. The Quran warns that careless speech destroys lives. Today, a viral rumor can destroy someone's reputation in minutes. The Quran commands us to verify what we hear before we repeat it. Today, we know for a fact that lies spread on social media way faster than the truth. The Quran teaches us to protect human dignity. Today, the whole game of chasing clicks and attention can lead to the most awful public shaming. The challenges have changed shape, but the principles, they are absolutely timeless.
So what can we do with this? How do we make this real in our own lives? Here are just a few gentle, practical ideas for reflection. Maybe ask yourself honestly, do my words build people up or do they tear things down? Just for today, make a conscious intention to pause. Just pause for a second before you speak or hit share. And maybe tonight, find a few quiet moments to just sit with that verse of light. Let it fill your heart and ask Allah for that deep sincerity, for ikhlas in everything you do, especially in those moments when you think no one else is watching.
And that really brings us to the final and maybe the most challenging question this juz leaves us with. You see, in the end, it's not about how religious you look to other people. That's not the real metric. The real question is, how trustworthy is your character? How solid is your integrity when the only one watching is Allah? Because ultimately, that's the core takeaway here. True success, that beautiful concept of falah, isn't measured in worldly things. It's measured by integrity. The believers are successful for one reason, because they are committed to the lifelong work of disciplining their hearts, being careful with their speech, and building a character that is the same person in public as they are in private.
We ask Allah for sincerity in our intentions and for acceptance of our humble efforts. This reflection was compiled with a lot of gratitude by Mir Ali Shah, just a fellow seeker sharing his journey through the Living the Wisdom of the Quran podcast. And of course, we ask for your forgiveness and his for any errors or any AI-related mispronunciations you might have heard. Thank you so much for joining us for this reflection.